Hi, so this is a video that is going to teach you how to put accent marks in Spanish. The slideshow is in Spanish, but I'm going to be explaining it to you in English so you have some extra support here. And I just want you to know that actually putting accent marks in Spanish is pretty easy, but you need to know how to pronounce the words that you're going to be analyzing because in order to put accent marks, you need to be able to divide the words in syllables and know where the strength of the pronunciation is in each word. So, as I said, the first thing you need to learn is to divide a word in syllables. So the rules of syllables. This is the first slide we have here. So in rules of syllables, we have number one. Each syllable will have at least one vowel. So a vowel on its own can actually make a syllable, but a consonant cannot. So at least one vowel. Number two, when there's a consonant between two vowels, this consonant will have a tendency to link to the vowel that follows it. So it will try not to join the previous one, but the ones that follows it. If there's not a vowel that follows, of course, it will go with the previous one. Rule number three, there are certain consonants that never gets apart. Always have to be together. BL, PL, FL, CL, GL, TL, PR, BR, FR, CR, GR, TR, DR. They always get together, so in a syllable you can never separate them. Also, there's another side rule for number three, which is combinations of S plus another consonant, they always have to be separated. So in Spanish, any word that starts with an S, a Spanish speaker is going to have trouble pronouncing that word that starts with an S if it's followed by a consonant, because that needs to be separated in Spanish. And we will never say school, we will say school, right? Because it needs a vowel, and because those two consonants, the S and the C, cannot go together. Anyway, that's just an anecdote. Rule number four, ch, j, and r, they represent only one sound, so they never get separated. The CH, LL, RR, they represent one sound, they always go together in the same syllable. Rule number five, two vowels that are in the same syllable, they form what it's called in Spanish un diptongo, a diphthong. And rule number six, two vowels that are side by side, but in separate syllables, they're forming what is called in Spanish un hiato, or in English a hiatus. I have a video there, which is actually the video of this same presentation, but in Spanish. So we're going to go a little more in detail on what are diphthongos and what are hiatos. And for that, you need to know that the 5 syllables in Spanish are organized into groups, abiertas and cerradas, so open and close. Abiertas are A, E, O, and cerradas are I, U. So as I was telling you before, a hiato is when a closed vowel that has the strength of the pronunciation is together with an open vowel. So in this case, for example, Maria, we have an I with the strength of the pronunciation that's underlined together with an A. The I is a cerrada and the A is abierta, but because the I is the one that has the strength of the pronunciation that breaks the syllable, and in this case, in this type of hiato, that cerrada is going to actually have an accent mark. There's also hiatus when we have two open vowels, so dos vocales abiertas. In the case of héroe, for example, We have an O, which is a abierta, plus an E, which is abierta. The syllable gets broken. But in this case, you don't need to put an accent mark in this type of hiato, only in type number 1. So diptongo is when we have two vowels together, but they actually don't break the syllable. They stay together in a syllable. What kind of diphthongs we have? We have open vowel plus closed vowel. Viaje, for example. I plus A stay together, no problem. We could also have two closed vowels. U plus I, huidizo. In that case, they stay together, no problem. And they could also have an open vowel with the strength of the pronunciation plus a closed vowel. In that case, it's the syllable, it's not broken, and everything stays like it is. Diario. The A has the strength of the pronunciation, the I doesn't, but the syllable is not broken, it does not need an accent. So, two types of situations when vowels are together in a word. Hiatos, hiato. We have two types of hiatus. First hiato is closed vowel with the strength of the pronunciation plus open vowel, both together, and the strength of the pronunciation, like I said, is in the closed vowel. So here the syllable gets broken and the closed vowel gets an accent mark. Second case, two open vowels, they break the syllable. Diphthong. Three cases of diphthong. Open vowel plus closed vowel, they don't break it. Two closed vowels, they don't break it. An open vowel with strength of the pronunciation plus closed vowel, diario, they don't break it. When I mean strength of the pronunciation, I mean that every single word, when we say it, there's one of the syllables of that word that it's stronger when we pronounce it. So you need to know which is that syllable that is the stronger one. For example, vocal. Vocal. Cal is the strong syllable. It has the strength of the pronunciation. If we put the strength of the pronunciation in the first syllable, however, we would say vocal instead of vocal. Okay, so that's the clue. Alright, so I've already taught you how to divide words in syllables, and that one specific case of hiatus needs an accent mark, right? Now I'm gonna teach you what type of words there are in Spanish, depending on where the words have the strength of the pronunciation, okay? Or what is called also the tonic vowel, la vocal tónica. So first type of words are aguda words. Aguda words, and we count syllables from the end. This represents the syllables, okay? Aguda words have the strength of the pronunciation in the first, starting from the end, syllable, okay? And they have an accent mark when they finish in N, S, or vowel. Por ejemplo, si, John has the strength of the pronunciation in the last syllable. It finishes in an N, it needs an accent mark. The second type of words are graves. Grave words have the strength of the pronunciation in the second syllable, starting the count from the end, and they have an accent mark when they finish in a consonant other than N, S, or of course when they don't finish in a vowel. Cárcel, for example, has cárcel, two syllables, and if you count from the end, first syllable, second syllable, okay, has the strength of the pronunciation in the second syllable, but it finishes in an L, which is a consonant that is not an N or an S. Does it need an accent mark? Yes, it does. The last type are esdrújulas and sobreesdrújulas. In this type of word, it doesn't matter how many syllables they have because we're always going to be counting from the end. This type of words have the strength of pronunciation in not the first, not the second, but the third or earlier syllables. They have an accent mark always. These are the easiest one. For example, analysis. A, na, li, sis. One syllable, two syllable, third syllable. is an esdrújula one, and it needs an accent mark because esdrújulas always have accent marks. So those are basically the main rules of accent marks. There's also something in Spanish called el acento diacrítico. This is the mark that we put on certain words to distinguish them from others that are written in the same way, but they have a different meaning. For example, we have interrogative and exclamative words like qué, cómo, cuándo, por qué. All those have accent marks to point in when somebody is reading a text. The point of these accent marks is to let the reader know that it is an exclamation or an interrogative word. Other examples, for example, aún o aún, or the demonstrative pronouns, or solo and solo. These are just some examples. These are other examples of accent marks that are used to differentiate one word from another. Usually in Spanish, words that have only one syllable do not have accent marks unless you want to distinguish it from another one. For example, de, from the verb dar, has an accent mark, but de as a preposition of does not have an accent mark. So, no me dé la lata, don't bother me, don't give me, accent. Los guantes son de lana, of wool, doesn't have an accent. Él as a pronoun has an accent, he, but él as an article, the, does not have an accent. And you have other differentiations here with accent or without. For example, tú as a pronoun, you, has an accent mark, but tú as a possessive does not have an accent mark. Your, tu perro. At the end of in these presentations, I have several exercises so you can review and test yourself. I underline the word that has, or the letter that has the strength of the pronunciation in each syllable, but I recommend you to pay attention to how native speakers pronounce these words, because little by little you need to train yourself to recognize which is the strong syllable in a word and which is the strong letter, because you will have to divide the words in syllables and then you will have to decide which is the strong one. Based on that, then you have to ask yourself, what type of word is it? Is it a grave, a llana? Is a grave, aguda, or esdrújula? And the third question will be, does it need an accent mark? More exercises. More exercises. More exercises. This is more advanced practice in a text.